Alright, everybody. So, Jill is going to be going on break. And I want to explain what that's going to mean. Because when the interest comes, you need to really seize the moments. Because we're going to be still doing all the stuff that we're going to do. We're still going to be doing the show and tell project. Clubbuses. We're still going to be working on songs for Jill's concert. But let me just remind you right now that the Amenton is very, very unpredictable and constantly busy. And there is never a dull moment. Now, the next Dance Mom guest who will be coming here is the one and only Abby Lee Miller. She will be arriving, if she doesn't come earlier, today or tomorrow, it'll be May 19th. So, I was talking to her. She said that she would come either on May 15th or May 19th. I said May 19th because that is the day where it all got introduced. Now, I'm going to introduce you to some of the songs. 2 realistic songs. Realistic, the ones that I am not composing. Because the Amenton later composes the music for the concert. So, there will be 2 songs. You Have to Be There by Susan Boyle that we're going to do. And also, we're going to be doing another song that is called A Million Dreams. Now, I'm sure that you've heard and you've all listened to these 2 songs before. Now, I'm going to explain why we're doing these 2 songs. Now, we're doing You Have to Be There because you really have to pay attention to and really look closely and carefully at the lyrics. At the lyrics of that song, very closely and carefully. And part of it was daring to question somebody or just kind of a resistance that you have toward a person, but needing, loving in that moment of, in a moment of peril, in a moment of, absolutely, just emergency, and, even no tough and, disrespectful treatment, the rock that we hang to, the rock that those children and dance moms really need and otherwise form a relationship with. So there is some resistance to her, but it's those moments where someone is shown not being nice, or not being respectful, being tough, but also it really touches you that you need that person, that you look up to that person. And, I was really debating if I wanted to have Abby Lee Miller come to my Amenton, because I have a lot of mixed feelings and mixed emotions. Part of me really wants to have her here because I'm so excited and eerie feeling about Dance Moon and Aquarius. That's probably where that's coming from. Big personality, very fun, and can be funny, and there's so many things I could say about Abby Lee that are positive. But may I remind each and every one of you that she is one of the only Amenton guests who have gone to Blake Castle beforehand. We have the ability to take individuals and put them in their past. So I think that her story of going to prison and then going into cancer really turns your opinions and your views around about her. And so I'm going to sit down because I'm tired of standing. Okay, that feels better. So as I was saying, we have the ability to take individuals at their current state. We can reverse them. We cannot move them forward. We don't have the technology for that yet. But we can reverse them to the time of life that we want them to come to the event in. It used to not be that way. But times move forward. And we can even take dead individuals and put them here at the Menton. Way back when Norma Zimmer came here, she died right around, right around the time that I was, well, no, I'm not going to say it, but she died before I was born. And I was interested. I wanted her at the Menton, so we reversed her back. And that was the very, very first time that we used that technology at Labimbi Gross's Menton. And then it spread. It always starts with her Menton, then spreads to everyone else's Menton. So, going into this, I have a lot of mixed feelings and a lot of mixed emotions. Because, she is the only one that went to Blake Castle. And as you know, Blake Castle, anyone who doesn't act respectfully to me or anyone else goes there and takes classes and learns their lesson. And, when I do that, part of me says, well, great, she needs to learn those things, she deserves it. And then another part of me says, what am I thinking? Doing that to a professional, doing that to someone who knows the business well. I am, sitting on 2 seats instead of sitting on 1 seat going into this. And I trust to know what she's going to be doing when she trains you, all the dancing things. But I'm going to be enforcing that when she comes here that she is going to, be nicer, to you guys as mentioned students, and treat them less like her own children rather than, as estudiantes. So that's, that's what I'm going to be just enforcing, but otherwise, it's all positives. A presence walking into a room that you feel great love and emotion and like for, but also you can have a detestability for. You can dislike. You can, you can resist and don't get too comfortable because you need to prove yourself. That kind of thing. That kind of thing is really what made the decision a very, very tough one. But I decided to allow her to come to the event, and for a very, very short amount of time, there will be several resemblances. Just be prepared for that. Quite a bit of resemblances coming in. A couple of them will be through Zoom. So, I'm planning on 2 realistic songs, save for the theme song and the mini songs. Now, the 2 realistic songs, as I said, was A Million Dreams, and also You Have to Be There. And I'm sure that you've heard that song before where someone, needs to be there that you might just kind of neglect, that you might dislike, but you just need that person there because you look up to that person. And then A Million Dreams, really has to do with that. First of all, thriving season, which I don't understand. It should be May 22nd and not September 22nd, because that was the time where I was really interested in it. And I remember the graduation over, over at the building that I teach at, 2019, they were doing that song, A Million Dreams. And that song really has to do with, having dreams and working toward them and accomplishing. And she is a very big believer in, working, very carefully and critically and very detail-orientedly. Because she was born on September 21, 1966, if I am getting that correctly, and a Virgo sun. And I'm just going to tell you right now that it is a pretty debatable and a pretty tough decision that I made over and get in my head. Because let me be honest, if I had to stereotype and rank down males and females for all the zodiac signs, I would not put Virgo females first. Because of the, being critical and all those types of negative Virgo things with the details. But I made the exception. I made the exception to have her since she is the lead person in Dance Moms. If I have all of the other ones come here, or if I have several others, why wouldn't I have her? So she will be coming. And what we're going to be doing is we're just going to get a head start on some of the music that goes along with her concert that we're going to be performing. And I really do not have any space on my whiteboard right now to do anything, to write anything new, because I've got it filled up with stuff. Once we're done with Jill's concert, that's when we're going to be working on her music. Now, here's a little reminder. The concert is coming up in 2 days. Tomorrow, we're going to be traveling. We're going to be going on planes, and we're going to be traveling. Don't worry, we have Germ Killer with us. We're going to be traveling to Pittsburgh, and we're going to be going over to her house for the afternoon, and she'll be having fashion and clothing lessons, so that should be really, really fun. And I'm going to go over that more here in just a second. So that will be May 14, John Besh's birthday. And so the sun will be in Taurus. The moon will still be in Aquarius. And May 15 is the day of the concert. So we cannot mess around today. We cannot mess around because we have a lot of tough work to do. They're all going to be here this afternoon, and you all need to really focus and really pick it up quickly. And I think that Abby has the same philosophy that I do. And I have to, and I will be, while she is here, we're going to be having an interview the very, very first day that she comes here. And I think that it's going to be pretty obvious the questions that I'm going to ask. I'm going to be asking why, I'm going to be getting into how she teaches the kids, why she really put the place that the dance got before the actual performance, judged them, disrespectful, didn't appreciate, was tough on them. All of those things that she does, I will be digging in, and I will want to know the answers, and I will be getting answers. And I am really going to have high expectations that I'm going to be enlightened, and I'm going to be surprised, and I'm going to really have a light bulb moment where I never thought about it like that. So that's the reason why I never knew that before. And I think that this Minton guest up and coming is a misunderstood person, known as someone who screams at kids, insults, and is tough on children and the mothers. But then you learn what happened to her. And so that kind of is the mind opener for anybody, for everyone. And that's part of it, having Timothy Minton. And so I'm going to be asking about all of those, all of those things, to really be able to take a misunderstood person and understand her correctly. Because in talking about astrology, Virgo is one of the signs that is a misunderstood sign. And the thing about them is they have a reserve to them, of which she does not have a reserve, and holding in emotions. So we're going to get to know. Now, the next thing that I want to talk to you about is I want to talk to you about tomorrow. So, tomorrow morning at around 8, we're going to be driving over to, so, back up a minute. At 6, that is when the plane leaves. Okay, we're going to be heading over to the airport. We're going to be, checking out luggages, getting on the plane. We're going to be leaving. The plane departs at 6. It's in Des Moines. We're going to head over to Pittsburgh. We're going to spend the rest of the morning driving over to Jill's house. And then we're going to be having lunch. It's this complete surprise what she's going to be making. From 1 to 2, from 1 to 2:40, she is going to be teaching her fashion and clothing and makeup lessons. Okay, so 1 to 1:30 is fashion, and then 1:30 to 2 is clothing, and 2:15 to 2:40, that's the makeup and style and dance lessons all combined. So we're going to have a lot of time to socialize, get to know. We're going to be watching the Dance Moms, of which we're going to talk about that here in just a second. You're all going to be there. And we're going to have a lot of fun and really get to know Kendall. And just some time to really, just relax and do all of those types of things. We're going to be having dinner. We're going to be leaving. It's going to be around 5:25 when we're going to be having dinner. Maybe even earlier. Because we're going to be going that day and we're going to be going back. The plane will be leaving at around 5:55 or 6 o'clock when that plane will be leaving, and we'll probably get there at about 6:40 or 7 tomorrow. So we'll be going there and then back in one day. Okay, I'm just gonna put that message out into the open for everybody to hear. Now, that's all that I wanted to talk to you about this morning. How it's going to be looking. Okay, so remember that May 15th is the night of the concert, and we really need to get ourselves in gear with that. And so today, this afternoon, the morning of May 15th in the afternoon, we're going to be working really, really, really hard. Just be prepared for that. So after lunch, it'll be raining after lunch, it should be. We're all going to be in this room. I will have the Leo song, and we're going to work on that. We're going to perfect We Go On. We're going to work on the theme song. We're going to be doing astrology later this evening. That evening, I'm going to make a promise, look up the birth information, get that all set up for everyone. Okay, so does that sound good to everybody? Does that sound like a plan? And I also hope that you are taking the initiative and really practicing this song, and also for those of you who are dancing to the couple of songs, that you are taking that initiative to really understand the choreography, because there's not a lot of time to prep for this concert, and the time is precious and pretty tight. So you have to put your priorities first and your responsibility. And you're probably looking at me thinking, oh, we have this big show and tell project. We already have priorities. But you really need to weigh them down, because you have more time to do that show and tell project than you do have to learn this. So there'll be no messing around, because you have a written portion that I'm going to be extending the due date for on May 17th. Back it up. May 16th. May 15th. May 15th. That's the day that your written portion is due. And then from May 16th all the way to the 19th, that is your window of working on your project. And remember, your written portion, that is basically, you can use that. That is basically what you're using to do your oral portion. That's basically what you're using to speech, with the additional note cards you're going to make, and also your speaker notes, either on paper and on the presentation. You're going to be taking the written portion and making a written speech, and then doing your presentation to go with that. Okay, so we'll go over it when the time comes for all of that information. Okay, so a lot of stuff going on at once at the Cementon. And also remember that when we go to the airport tomorrow, that you will be having germ killers. Just to make sure, I will be evaluating. We'll be doing several attendance. I will make sure that you all have things to entertain yourself on the plane ride there and back. Books, technology, phone, computer, all of that stuff. That you are present, and that you have your germ killer present, because you don't want to go into an airport and you don't want to get COVID. You don't want to start something that's going to spread it around. And I'm going to call them up and I'm going to tell them we have germ killers, so I'm going to be letting all of you in to the Edmonton, or I'm going to ask my curator to do that. I think, wait a minute, I did. So he is going to call them, and they're going to let them into the Edmonton. Everybody, including me, will be having germ killers. You do not have to wear face masks or anything. You don't have to keep a social distance or anything, because you need to trust that these germ killers are highly technologically built. It's in the richest area of Joka where these things are made, and they're shipped over here. And the shipments are running pretty efficient and pretty generous for us, and pretty quickly, that they just keep coming. And you don't need to stand the 6 feet away. You can't measure 6 feet. Nobody can. And you're nervous that you're standing less than 6 feet away. And you don't want to have to go in and wearing face masks. So what you do, every time that you are close to somebody, when you are the person that helps you put your luggage on, the person that helps you check in, you're going to take the bottle of germ killer. You're going to put just an amount in that person's hands. You're going to put an amount in your hands, and you're going to rub it all over your face, rub it all over. Get all the little details. Rub it all over your hands, all over your arms. Whatever body part is naked, and that's going to be showing. You don't have to, like, strip yourself off or anything crazy like that. Just your face, your neck, your hands, and it's pretty easy to do because it absorbs in really quickly, and it spreads, and it kind of does the job. But you need to be the one that is going to be kind of assisting it and giving it that boost with putting things in just the general areas. You don't have to be detailed because it's pretty well to spread. You just put a dose on your hands, you spread it around, you put a little on your arm or your wrist or wherever your body is not covered, your neck, all sides of it, and your face. It's pretty quick to do, and even if it's incomplete, you won't get anything. That way you can talk to the person, that way you can get close to the person, no worries, okay? And if you're concerned, then you have to put your trust in me and put your trust on the Beanie Setters that, set up this product, okay? So that's what I want to tell you about. So, if you don't have that, then I think that you're going to be screwed, okay? If you don't have a bottle of germ killer, I will have extras there for you, but there will be a limited amount, and there's a lot more individuals than me. So I don't want to have to be responsible. That is your responsibility to keep track of those things. I'm not going to be hunting down, germ killers and all those kind of things. Okay, I'm not going to babysit for everybody. You have to kind of pull your weight in the situation and take responsibility for those. Don't lose them. Don't waste it. Use it sparingly. All of those things. Okay? So if you do, I don't want to scare you, but you're probably going to have to be faced with putting a mask on and having to stand 6 feet and be anxious, which is mentally and physically unhealthy, and you might get it. Who knows? But, with this thing, it makes or breaks you. With this thing, you're immediately safe, and you don't need to worry about a darn thing. It's there, and it stays there for about 2 hours, and then that's when, in the next social interaction that you have after that 2 hours, you need to apply it again, the same amount as you did, okay? It doesn't really matter how much, but, if you do quite a bit of it, it will benefit you more than if you do just the slightest bit of it. So do a good, reasonably sized little dollop of just a little teeny tiny circle in your fingers, okay? And I'm not going to put silly rules like, on you or not on the plane, because everyone uses the bathroom, to not drink so much, because then you need to use the bathroom and then risk it. If you have the germ killers, you put your finger on that door, and the germ killer on your hand will, just the chemicals of that will spread to the door handle, to the toilet or the bar or the sink or whatever, and it will kill all of those germs that may be lying there that, people have touched and bothered with. And everyone's taking precautions, and it may make the headlines, but we want to keep it secret, because if we just expose it, everyone will come running to us, and we will run out of these precious resources that we have. We still don't have enough, but we have quite a bit compared. So, that's all I wanted to tell you about. Okay, so when you come back, I will go over the schedule of how it's going to look. Okay, I'm tired of sitting here, and I'm tired of talking. So all of you are going to go on break. Have a nice lunch. I'll see you later.